So
Doing all right, man.
back in New York, I get to see your face. I haven't seen your face and since we had beers, I think, on that patio.
Wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I know.
That was a very long time ago.
Yeah, man. Two leases ago, and a couple of moves back to New York.
3 leases ago.
That's yes, correct. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's wow. 3 leases, 2.5 years.
I guess, like when I do a lease, I like it to be long term. It's such an amazing pain in the ass. Yeah.
It's been crazy. When I think about it, I've lived in one, two, three, now 4 places in less than a year.
Holy jeez. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
when are you going to buy? Next time you come, if you remember we were talking, I was like, had you have bought actually when you first came to Toronto,
Yeah,
how
man.
up would you have been? Oh my God.
Yeah, it would that have been a nice chunk of change I would have walked away with.
Oh
But
wow. Hey Levy, next time you come to Toronto, you have to buy because it's pretty much like putting your money on steroids. But
yeah, I think that's not going to happen. I think I will be moving back up to Canada. It was a good experience, but I think I'm back down in the States, and the next move to buy will be a seafaring vessel.
yes,
That's probably what
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're close to. I'm not going to put any of this out, obviously, on anything, but so you guys you're looking at like 2 3 years, 4 years, and you're going to do something like that
We want to do it too.
in 2 years.
Two, I think one is a little too fast. I think 2 years is the right number to get the right amount of education, sailing experience. You can't really see it now, but where I live now, like the light is kind of screwing this up, but this is an incredible place. I'm in no rush to leave this place. So as long as the gig is still good and nothing happens that forces a change, I'm good staying here. Unless the boss tells me otherwise. 2 years and then I'm out. We buy a boat and switch up the lifestyle meaningfully and just explore. Travel and
Nice.
live
Just
life.
live off of the residuals.
Live off residuals. I'd probably trade my own money. She already is building her own business that she can perform anywhere there's an internet connection.
Yeah.
So ideally, I would live off my investments, trading, create some sort of product as well. I would imagine she would have her own business as well, and if we do it right, you wouldn't need that significant of an income to be able to subsist and perform the lifestyle. So you just got to downsize accordingly over time and try to make it happen.
Nice. Oh, that's exciting. You're a braver man than me. I personally, I've spent enough time on boats. And as George Foreman says, I caught that fish. I'm good. I'm good.
I like that. I like that. I get it.
Yeah.
The opposite for us. We have
Yeah.
an itch for travel and different lifestyle that we're very much looking forward to scratching. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I guess the segment that I really wanted to grab to have I wanted to connect anyway and just sort of so we could have at least some sort of discussion without face masks and everything else on. Um, was just kind of like one of the things that I strive to do whenever I have a new client. If I take somebody on, it doesn't matter if it's a $1,500 lease or a $15 million purchase or sale or whatever. I always aim to like give that sort of same level of service regardless of what my financial return is going to be. And you came through who's like a pretty unique sort of contact of mine through Sandy. And so I think even if I didn't have that philosophy of treating everybody with the highest degree of competencies, um, on top of that, you came referred from a really close friend. But I just wanted to sort of chat to you about your different experiences of, like when you met me, what your expectations were, and then why you called me back, and then ultimately you also referred me to one of your clients to take care of his needs as well. And so, I guess running through that, I guess let's start with what were your expectations, coming in and having not known me before
Yeah,
versus
I
what
think
you might have received.
yeah, if I can rewind the mental back to 2018, I probably had 3 or 4 months to get up to speed, learn what I had to learn, got to go do my job in Toronto, and then it was probably within a month that I did I'd like to think I do a fair amount of research on my own. Uh, Renting in New York City, I never really relied on realtors, brokers, or whatever title you'd like to use. Um, but obviously, moving to another city globally, smart thing to do is work with someone that knows the market, right? So I reached out to Sandy, internally, young kid, smart kid that obviously wanted to do right by me, a little more of a senior individual coming in. He recommended you after I had already done some of my own work, and I think you highlighted a number of properties that I initially highlighted that I thought looked good as well. I was like, okay, it sounds like we're kind of on the same page. And then there was just that 2-week period of you kind of packaged together that sweet URL that had 10 different listings, and we looked at each one. Okay, this one looks good, this one looks good. And then we worked out that day where I flew in at 9:30 in the morning, had a departing flight at 6 p.m. We cranked out 5 or 6 apartment visits in one day.
And had
um,
time for beers and lunch, actually.
and had time for beers and lunch naturally. And it was great. Listen, at no point did I feel pressured to lock in one place or another, one more expensive, one less expensive. Um, you know, I like that. It came down to 2 places: the one I initially took, and the penthouse in the middle of King West. That was pretty sweet place. Top floor, 2 balconies, 3, 4 rooms overlooking the entire city. Like, kind of a sweet spot. But I think what I liked about working with you is that you get it. You get what we're looking for, and there just wasn't the right thing from a livability standpoint. And ultimately, we got the Trinity Bell Woods place because it was more of a unique home, better environment, better neighborhood, um, fit the mold of what I was looking to accomplish in terms of lifestyle. And I like that, I was able to talk to you about it, talk through it with you without feeling any sort of pressure one way or another. Oftentimes, I'm in a business where you could talk to salespeople that are trying to pitch you and sell you on stuff, and you could kind of get it. You could feel it. You could feel the ooze, if you will. I
Commission,
know,
right? Yeah.
exactly, like exactly.
I need this more than you. Yeah.
Exactly. At no point did I feel like I was being sold. And I like to think I have a good filter for that, and felt comfortable working with you. And we locked in that one place. And I think what really naturally helped me out the first place, right? And then when it was time to move in somewhat short notice, I felt comfortable going back to you and asking for your thoughts on what the potential routes are for moving out, somewhat short notice, and then dealing with a landlord who was less than optimal in his expectations for however the place was going to be when we moved out. I think, I can't really describe into words how grateful we are for dealing with that situation, because that was a headache and a half in an extremely stressful environment. And then naturally, like, you came through in the clutch, and that I was going to go back to you for the next place that we found when we moved back.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it's one of the things too that I tell a lot of my clients, and I don't think they necessarily really believe me until it comes in a situation where you're in, where I tell people, like, man, like, once I'm your real estate agent, in my mind, that's it. Like, we're bound together for life now, and
Right.
for life, like anything you need real estate wise. Like, if you needed a broker in New York, I would bend over backwards and vet them for you. I'd find the best possible person to sell you real estate in the New York area or wherever you're going to go. Right down to, you're asking me about sailing stuff and connecting me with sailing people, and like, I'm your resource for whatever. And so I was super happy when you had that problem, and then you connected back to me, because there was no financial upside for me to help you out of that situation.
Yep.
Um, but I have this like responsibility that I take up on myself. It's like, I helped you get into this and I'll help you get out of it if that's what you need.
Yeah, no, I always appreciate your responses when I would highlight the issue and talk it out with you, and you're like, no worries, just leave it to me. I'll look into it, come back to you. And you did. And, you made what was a headache, a lesser headache. And we are grateful that you're able to come through in the clutch in that.
Yeah.
More than
And then,
one.
yeah, and then again on this exit, we had to exit you on another one too, which,
Exactly.
duty calls and you had to get out of the lease. And, so far so good. We haven't actually tidied that one up yet, but they're on paper and we've got their money. So,
Is it done? Do we?
Oh yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. They're moving in at May 1st. I think they're going to move in.
I think they might move in a couple days prior. Actually,
okay. They've coordinated with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. The last thing I guess is so you connected me up with one of your clients.
Yep.
Which for me to send somebody that I know to a subcontractor, let's say, like if somebody's like, hey, Chris, like a really good painter, like that painter needs to be frickin' exceptional for me to put them in contact. And so like when you referred me over to your client to help him out, I was so flattered, as I always am when somebody refers me, because you're a professional and like if you send your guy over to me and I don't produce that result, it reflects really badly on you and your judgment. So, I guess wanted to thank you formally for sending that along to me, because it was, he ended up actually, he came to me as a lease, and then he ended up buying something, which was really awesome and surprising, because he never really struck me as the kind of definitive person that would make that like snap decision to do something like that.
I'll also say this: he's not a very he's not a very talkative individual. Like in the way that we interact professionally, a lot of it is over a messenger system, and it's always just a thanks, cool, got it, great, thanks. Like very, very short. But he also said outright unsolicited. He was like, thanks for putting me in touch with Chris. Like, guy was great. At no point did I feel like being sold. Like, it wasn't any sort of like greasy realtor salesmanship. Like, I went in there for a rental. Chris was totally cool. He was like, yep, whatever you need, just let me know. I ended up buying a place. At no point did the fabric of the relationship or interaction between you two change in any sort of way that made him feel uncomfortable. And that's why I was cool, recommending. Right, because he was in a bit of a pinch. I know you come through in the clutch for me twice in a pinch. So I just thought it was natural, and the right thing to do is to pay it forward. You done me a solid, and I thought the right thing was send me your way.
Yeah, man, and I do appreciate it, because he was, like you said, he wasn't a very super talkative guy, but he was, direct in what he needed. He was very thorough. Like I said, I was so surprised when he was like, yeah, I'll buy it instead. It's like, man, like the number of times he was like, we all, almost put in a lease, and then he was like, oh, I need to go back and take another look and measure for my couch and rethinking stuff. And we went back to the same place like 3 times to measure. And then he bought a place that we were in for 20 minutes.
Love that.
All right. I mean,
that's great.
I had him pegged wrong. I guess he was, had the ability to be decisive when he saw what he liked.
Yeah. I hear he's liking the place too. So,
he should. You know what? About 3-4 times a year, I sell a property that I love myself, where I'm like, damn, like if I was single, or even if I was just like newly married and didn't have kids, I'd live where he lives.
Yeah.
That place is pretty awesome. And we got it for a deal.
There you go.
In Toronto, it's like unheard of.
He's a smart guy. Maybe he sensed that,
Yeah, like there was, we ended up going back and forth. They actually like negotiated with the seller. It was like unheard of.
He did?
Well, we did together. It was sort of like, we went back and forth with them, and we ended up actually, reaching a place where I think everybody was equally as uncomfortable with the deal.
That sounds like the right price.
Yeah, that's the right price. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
cool. So you guys are back there. You've landed now. You're unpacked and.
Yeah. So the apartment is slowly getting cleaned up. We've had like it's been full of boxes. Our stuff just came in this past Thursday. So we still got a lot of work to do in here, but it's slowly becoming a home, and the view makes everything worth it. So
Did you get vaccinated like the second you crossed the border?
within 6 days, I got my Moderna shot. So I have my second one on May 1st.
Which is
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. Like I'm probably 3-4 months away from getting mine.
I don't know. I think it's opening up quite a bit from a vaccine distribution standpoint in Toronto. Like there are zip codes, area code zip codes in Toronto that you can start establishing appointments, I believe. And you could go to select distribution sites and just, they're not wasting them. So if someone doesn't show up, now granted, you're going to have to be patient and you'll probably strike out a couple times, but you could go to, say, I don't know if it's Rexall or whatever it is, and just hang out there after they close. And if people didn't show up for their afternoon appointments, they're just giving away shots.
Oh, my understanding, the hospitals had that system set up, and then because it wasn't fair and equitable for everybody, they shut it down.
The giving away shots at the end of the day? Yeah. It sounds pretty fair and equitable. You didn't show up for your appointment.
Right? Like, wow, yeah, but you're not 70 and whatever. My frustration levels with our distribution here is.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I left the country partially because of.
Yeah, we live in this one pocket. We're surrounded. To the north of us is actually one of the most prevalent COVID neighborhoods. And those kids go to my kids' school, and I can't get the shot because we're not in a red zone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? But there are people, yeah. So I'm done trying to figure it out.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, it does seem like things are slowly opening up for you guys. I'm hoping it does in a much more significant way, but baby steps at least.
Me too. I've like 6 clients in the last 4 weeks have said, we're going to put things on hold. And I'm like, all right. I'm just wondering if, like, from my end, people put things on hold. They're like uncertain about the market. And I'm like, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. Like, I'm not sure what you think is going to happen when this goes away, but I don't think it's going to be the answer as real estate prices go down.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not like down, sure, but maybe not significantly. Like, I don't, see. Well, that's also the scary part. Like Toronto has defied economic reality in a way, and that's a scary thing for folks. So, I forget. Someone was asking me whether, like, oh yeah, the kid I work with, he's deciding whether or not he should buy a place. I'm like, listen, you can try to time it. Good luck. But ultimately, if you're going to live there for 5 years, like in 5 years, I don't see it down substantially, like if at all. The demographic trends are still there. The economic prowess of the city relative to the rest of Canada is still there.
They're looking to buy in Toronto or in New York?
In Toronto. He's just kind of vetting. Yeah, I think he just moved into a new place, renting. But if anything, I'll point him your way.
What I would say to him is like, take a look at the, if he trades stocks, if he understands how that works, then the real estate market isn't any different. It has peaks and valleys, but it's always in an upward trend. It's no different.
Yeah, he's doing quite a bit of work. Actually, I'll introduce you guys. He's a sharp kid, and least glean some insights off one another.
Yeah, I'd love to just have it, because there's so many shitheads that are giving bad advice, both in the real estate business and people that have no business giving real estate advice. But I got a text message from somebody the other day saying that they're waiting for the market to crash. It's like, okay.
Good luck.
Let's say it does crash by 30% 6 years from now. You're
still paying up from where you would have.
You're still, like, it's still going to be more expensive than right now. And that's, I think And even if it does correct by 30%, how long does it take for it to recover? 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point last year in like the throes of COVID that prices corrected by like 10-15% for like a month, and that was it.
That was it.
You had
Yeah.
your shop for a month.
Yeah. And that's where I was out shopping for condos with people.
Yeah.
Because there was like 6 people I know that saw the writing on the wall. I was like, this is it. If you want to buy a condo, this is your moment in time. And they did. And they made out like bandits.
Yep.
So, oops. Anyway, thanks for taking the half hour to chat. And
Yeah, no worries, man.
it's
I
nice.
appreciate it. What do you think
Appreciate you saying some nice things. And man, I'm jealous for your adventures. Like that's gonna be fun.
we're gonna try to get licensed up, take our first sailing courses in the summer, and then we're gonna do a live aboard catamaran for a week, vacation / educational experience in the fall. And I don't think it's to be as much of a vacation as typical vacation because like it's actually a lot of stuff you have to learn and take the exam. But once we do that, then it's next in the winter, February, whatever it is next year, rent the boat, try living on a boat for a week on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And if we like it, we're doing it. Like,
cool, man.
We have to really not like it to not do it.
Yeah. No, you'll like it, especially I think a catamaran. I've spent just a little bit of time on a catamaran, but one of those little bits of time was in Bermuda. We were there for 4 days.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I never slept inside.
Just out on the trampoline.
Yeah, just sleep out there, which was awesome because I was mostly wasted the whole time.
There you go, man. As you should have been.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to try to manage that while actually skippering the boats ourselves. It's like, all right, well, we can't get too hammered because we have to drive this thing in the morning.
Yeah, and there are things that you sometimes need to attend to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you could do shift work.
Sure.
Like you get your drink on one night and Beth does the next night.
Yeah, exactly. We're both getting licensed up. She's gonna be driving too. You're gonna be driving too.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm happy to give testimonials and any sort of feedback. I'll introduce you to my colleague, and who knows whether it's near term or 5 years from now. I'm sure he'll probably be by it.
At the very least, I can help deliver some decent information to help make a decision one way or the other.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
All right,
man. Enjoy that wine.
I will. I've still only had the Riesling. We got to get into the rest of it. But 3 kids.
I'm a big fan of the Pinot. The Pinot Noir is my favorite.
Yeah, I'll have some of that tonight. Actually, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, man.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.